Hello and welcome to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Today is 11/29/17. We're going to be going over Bitcoin, of course, firstly today, and then we're going to be answering questions, going over some altcoins, talking about the whole market cycle of the market cap, and a lot of exciting stuff has been going on. And by the way, happy 10K everybody. Not going to say I told you so, but it did go to $10,000, so that's a very nice accomplishment for everybody that has been buying and accumulating Bitcoin along the way. So congratulations to everybody that rode that wave with me. So yeah, let's get right into this. I'm going to switch over to my screen here. Let's talk about Bitcoin right off the bat. I'm looking at 3-hour candlesticks here. This is the Poloniex USDT chart. And currently I'm just looking at the wave count for Bitcoin and watching the support line. So I was expecting some panic here. It did FOMO a little bit higher than I initially thought. I posted on my trading view that it's ready for a shakeout, meaning that there's too many people buying because they're scared of missing out on the gains that they can get. And basically it's overvaluating the currency too quickly. So I knew it would have to shake out some noobs, but it ended up going a little bit past my initial point. I thought this shakeout would start right here. So I go ahead and update on these charts, by the way, on my trading view. So if you guys see a chart and it doesn't look like the prediction went as planned or whatever, I do update these so that you can come back and kind of see my thoughts on that. And the shakeout did happen a little bit above that, and we have fallen back to the trend line. Now what we're looking for, let me delete these Elliott waves, or at least move them for a second. What we're looking for is this candle to close with the body of the candle above this trend line. So that means we're watching for this candle to basically not close with the body below the trend line, because if it closes with the body below the trend line, then that's a breakdown in the trend line, which would prove to be a sell signal for Bitcoin. It would bounce back up to a point where you can get out clear near the top still, because when markets pop they always rally to, or at least near, previous highs. So what we're looking for is basically this trend line to hold, and it looks like it will. It looks like this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll have a 5 wave to the 13,000 and 15,000 possible, at least, levels after this panic shakes out. So this looks like very ordinary panic. We are very volatile up here because we're near the top. Let's go ahead and check in the live dashboard and see how many people we have. 183 people. Welcome everybody. All right. Looks like we have quite a few people online today. Awesome. So yeah, everything looks normal in cryptocurrency markets. This is just classic shakeouts before a big parabolic leg. Do you remember when everybody panicked right here? And everybody panicked right here, and everybody panicked right here, and all along my channel I kept talking about how this was just the biggest bull trend I'd ever seen, and that just to buy these dips. And sure enough, the whole time we've had a nice steady uptrend. So I see this as a similar shakeout right here. We should close with this above the trend line and see this get engulfed by FOMO basically over the next few days. Now if it does break the trend line here at 9,200, that's what I will be watching, and I will be posting updates on my TradingView charts, so watch those. And also if you're a VIP member, I will post exact sell signals for you guys, so you don't have to worry about that, about missing the signal. So I will be giving you guys the exact sell prices if it does turn into a sell here soon. But as for now, I sold off 25% about of my Bitcoin at around $11,000. I posted today, this morning when I woke up before this panic happened, basically told all my VIP members to take some profits on Bitcoin, and then we will be looking to take the rest in this 5th wave. So I'll start selling near the 3, like past 11 at 13,000. I'll start selling for my position, and then sell more as we wave into 14 and 15 possibly. It could hyperextend to 15. That would basically just mean that there's so much FOMO driving the market that yeah, it can't sustain that type of growth. When it hits 15, it will correct, you guys. I do see a correction in Bitcoin over the spring of 2018. I've talked about this a lot. I do see an ABC correction because this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that goes along perfectly with my idea and thoughts that institutional investors will really get interested in cryptocurrency around next year. And that's when we'll see the real parabolic market cycle start, because right now we are in a very small market cycle. This is like the first cycle for cryptocurrency, coming up to 314 billion. So this is, every market has a cycle. Every market has places that people take profits. Anybody that's been accumulating cryptocurrency in like the $4 and the $5 billion levels, like I got into cryptocurrency when it was $4 billion in market cap. So anybody that started down here is going to start taking profits up here. It's just how markets work. It will have a sell-off, and I suspect that sell-off to be spring of 2018. Which will be the best opportunity in your life to buy cryptocurrency, in my opinion, because that will be the time that institutional investors will really be getting in, and we'll be able to see this market cycle play up for another parabolic leg into the trillions, because that will happen with cryptocurrency. It's not a bubble. The entire crypto markets is not a bubble. Some of these coins are bubbles. Some of these coins are bad coins made by terrible developers that don't actually have business models, that don't plan to make an actual change in the world. But a lot of these coins aren't bubbles. A lot of these coins are going to stay around. And I would say that not 1,300 of them, but at least 100 or two that people actually use wouldn't be completely out of the scope of possibilities. So I do see this as a lot of hype right now, and when it does crash in the spring, it'll be a good time to start buying. But that's kind of my thoughts on the Bitcoin rally here and the recent panic that we're seeing right here at the 3 wave. This is very normal, shaking out before 5th wave. 5th waves are super parabolic, but it's just greed and profit taking, greed, profit, panic. It's the same story. We've seen it time and time again, so let's let this 5 wave play out and we'll sell into everybody's greed. Because this is obviously, if we do the Elliott wave count, we started a market cycle really the beginning of 2017, making the first wave into 3,000, pulling back to 18, second wave, and then on the 3 wave we pulled to 5,000, then back to the top of the 1 wave at 3, and now we're having that 5 leg up to 15. Would be about the highest I can see it going in this 5th leg. It might see profit taking a little bit sooner. Like we said, we'll be selling into all of the greed in the 5th wave, because markets have corrections. Wells that accumulated all through this period of time will take their profits. I don't care who it is or what it is. It basically every single time people buy the dip and make money, they want to take their profits, right? If you make a bunch of money on a coin, you're not just going to hold it forever. Wells know to take their profits. So we will have an ABC correction. And it looks like we'll fall back to the trend line. And we could easily start another bullish market cycle on the trend line. So this is kind of what I'm thinking will happen over the next probably about, let's see, let me move this. We could see this type of movement into March, around into March, that I see this taking place, where we near the bottom of the correction. So this will be an ABC. We'll have an A leg down to like 9,000, and then a B leg up to rallying near previous highs, and then we'll have a C leg down to the trend line between the 2 and the 4 right here. So that's kind of how the math works on the correction. Now, if Bitcoin does decide to correct at like 12,000, then this ABC might go a little bit lower than this trend line, but I would see that get eaten up by buyers very quickly, because this is the spot where the whales would be interested in buying again, because the risk to reward will be amazing down at around $7,000. So that's kind of what I see happening over the next few months with Bitcoin. As you know, we've been buying the heck out of Bitcoin since the beginning of this channel. And I've just been bullish on Bitcoin the entire time. But markets have corrections, so we do suspect some selling off in the spring. As much as the new money that gets into this wants to hold on to their top of the market that they bought, they will get shook out. All the people that bought this fifth leg will get shook out in the ABC correction. So, but after that, I'm extremely bullish on Bitcoin again. And I suspect bouncing and rallying past all-time highs. So long-term, Bitcoin is an amazing investment. And if you go look at the parabolic market growth, lots of people that understand parabolic market cycles have looked into the way that Bitcoin expands, and it's very possible for Bitcoin to go past $100,000 in the future. And according to the previous rate of growth in Bitcoin, it's likely that it hits it sometime around 2021. So you can go look in the charts on Google Images for that. Look up growth rates for Bitcoin chart, and you'll get a nice graph showing the growth rate. And it's very possible for that to happen. It's not out of the possibilities. It's a scarce with high demand asset, and it's very valuable. So it's very possible for that to happen down the road. And I wanted to bring that out and up in today's stream because I know a lot of people have been buying and holding Bitcoin for a long time, and I just want you guys to know that I'm bullish on Bitcoin long term as well. But that's the short-term movement I see coming. Okay, let's see. 341 people watching today. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Now let's get a ton of requests because I'm going to start doing TA for you guys on all of these coins. I'm going to close out of a couple tabs. People are saying it's lagging. Let me see if I can help with that by minimizing the amount of lag and mess I have open on my computer real quick. All right. Okay, Ethereum. Ethereum's the first one. Ethereum USDT. Okay, so we had a nice breakout in Ethereum. People asked me kind of what my thoughts were in my Discord the other day, and I pointed out that when you have a parabolic breakout of major resistance, it has a high probability of falling back to the support line. So in this case, we did have a nice fall back onto the support line at about $400 for Ethereum. This will get eaten up, in my opinion, because this is not done. We just broke out. So this could potentially be a one wave for Ethereum, or something like this. Right, where we're starting to get that. So we could have a little bit of a panic to about 358, and then we'll have that push up into the $600 plus levels for Ethereum. And the reason that we will have that move is because this is an ascending triangle, and when you have an ascending triangle breakout, you can do a measured move. You measure from the low of the first wave in the triangle to the top of that wave, and let me just go ahead and make these cut ends. Okay, there we go. And then you can set this on top of the triangle at the breakout, and you can do a measured move for the calculated target. So that's why we are bullish on Ethereum. This is panic, and the buy zone is near the one wave at about 355, and we'll prepare for that fifth wave. And the fifth wave should bring us into the spring, and then it should have a sell-off as well. Ethereum will have a sell-off with Bitcoin. So that's kind of my short-term thoughts on Ethereum. All of this I've been watching very closely. I've been pointing out Ethereum multiple times, telling people to accumulate because of this huge ascending triangle formation that we saw. So it's very standard movement, and that's kind of my target, is about $600, $700 on the fifth wave. All right, let's go through and see more predictions. All right, Bitcoin Cash. This one is accounting for a lot of volume, so I will take this as a request. Now, this is the movement that I've been looking at for Bitcoin Cash. I tried to short this and ended up getting stopped out because of a little bit of FOMO on this leg right here. Oops, remove all drawing tools. But essentially I saw that this was rising too quickly and needed to pull back. Now, this happens. I took a small loss. It was about 3%. Because I ended up being able to let the coin fall back near my entry and take less of a loss. So this one looks like it will fall back to these levels at about $1,100 against USDT. It's following a similar fractal to when Bitcoin broke out from the levels at 180 out to $500. So it wouldn't surprise me if after this has an ABC correction, if we saw continuation in Bitcoin Cash and made an ascending triangle. Now, what that means for the prices of Bitcoin, I personally think that they'll both somewhat go up together. And the reason for this is because I've seen this happen many times with Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. And it really is just because cryptocurrency has so much hype that people are buying both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash because they're both hyped. So the value is leaving the US dollar and staying inside of cryptocurrency. So that's why I'm bullish on Bitcoin Cash, but I do suspect we have a fallback to these levels. And it's really just because we had confirmation when we broke out right here and we broke this downtrending resistance and I got stopped out on my short. That was confirmation that we opened a bull market because we broke the parabolic resistance in this area. So this is stepping up now, Bitcoin Cash is, and it will continue to see upside movement. Now it might take a while to see that upside movement, even into 2018 before it breaks major resistance, but I do think that this coin overall long term has a lot of bullish movement left in it. Now, like I said, what that means for Bitcoin, I personally think that they can go up together. So Bitcoin is definitely more of a store of value, and that's what people are using it for in the real world. That's its actual application. Lots of people use it as a store of value, kind of like a digital gold. And Bitcoin Cash would be something more like a digital cash. So it does have potential to kind of take some market value or market share of Bitcoin. I don't see it taking over Bitcoin in any way, but I was letting you guys know that it has upside movement overall from what I can see. All right. Now let's go over Factum. Factum is taking some panic right here. This is actually standard panic to see as well. Reminds me of the panic we're seeing in Bitcoin right now. So as long as we can hold support of these levels, Factum is very bullish. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, and possible 5 out to the $38. But we need to see this support hold in the 1 range. Now, technically in Elliott wave theory, you cannot have the 4 wave break below the top of the 1 wave. So in this case with Factum, we have to see this panic get engulfed by bullish players, creating that as a wick, because then it would be a false breakdown in its trend line. Cryptocurrency is very volatile, and you have to be aware of false breakdowns and trend lines. For example, this false breakdown that happened in Factum back in, let's see, before August, yeah, this was September. This has really started to happen in Factum against the dollar. This wick right here was a huge false breakdown. It went all the way from $14 to $3 in 12 hours, and then it was completely engulfed by bullish players, and it was a false breakdown in its trend line. That happens a lot in cryptocurrency, and it happened in Bitcoin recently as well when everybody panicked at the top of Bitcoin. Whoops, sorry about that. When everybody panicked at the top of Bitcoin when we were reaching this high, near 8,000, we saw that false breakdown in this trend line, and it was quickly engulfed by bullish players, and I also talked about that. It was either in a live stream or a video, so yeah, that's what I think is Factum. It's just going to get engulfed by those bullish players along with Bitcoin. A lot of these coins follow Bitcoin, you guys. Like if you compare XMR to Bitcoin against the dollar, XMR USDT, and then you just take this chart. Oops, that's editing my alert. Pretty excited about the TradingView course, you guys. I've been working on it hard. We're getting pretty close to being done with it. We're just waiting on all of the automation in the new website to be finished. I've got somebody working on that. So once that's all ready, we're going to be releasing the TradingView course and the forums and then email alerts for the VIP signals. So I'm very stoked about all of that stuff I've got coming out. All right, so this pink line is the XMR graph, and this other line, let me remove a lot of this so that you guys don't get confused. Remove all drawing tools. So this pink line is XMR, and this other line is the Bitcoin. These candles are the Bitcoin candles. So as you can see, XMR has been perfectly following Bitcoin basically since the beginning. And in the fifth legs, altcoins seem to move more percent, I've noticed. So as you can see, this is the fifth leg of the Elliott cycle, and XMR moved from, I think that was like, I can't see the exact prices because this is comparison, but the XMR had a way bigger percentage increase in the fifth leg than Bitcoin did. And that's exactly what altcoins are going to do again this time, is they're going to have way bigger percentage gains. Well, Bitcoin's hitting 15 and hitting major resistance and everybody's selling. The altcoins will have huge fifth legs with even bigger percentages. And that's really just because it happens every single time in these fifth legs, is the altcoins see more growth than Bitcoin. And in these first two waves of the market, like right here and right here, the altcoins are held back and Bitcoin takes the spotlight. Right here, between September and November, it was better to hold Bitcoin than XMR, but in the fifth leg, it ends up being better to hold altcoins than Bitcoin. So that is occurring. That's basically why altcoins are panicking right now, is because they follow Bitcoin. But they will also follow Bitcoin in the extended fifth wave up to the 15 levels. So all right, now let me remove that comparison and look at some more. Okay, so people are saying that my stream is still lagging. Let me see what I can figure out here. Quit Discord. Okay. All right. Yeah, hold on to your altcoins. Sell them in the top of the fifth wave, obviously, because cryptocurrency is going to go into the $500 billion levels or 400 around there, and we'll see the market, have a sell-off, and you'll sell altcoins and Bitcoin because the entire market will go bearish during the spring for a little while. So nothing will be left behind in that bearish move. All right. So Digibyte is one I've been looking at very closely here. This is a very nice opportunity as a buy signal right now, actually. And the reason for that is because we have a beautiful rounded bottom formation. And I am looking at this against the dollar, just so you guys are aware. I do all my TA against the dollar because I find it to be more accurate. You avoid the volatility of Bitcoin in your charting. All right, so this is a rounded bottom formation, and we broke the Ichimoku resistance, and then we're falling back onto the support right here. So this is making higher highs and higher lows, and it's in a higher low. So Digibyte is actually an excellent entry right now. So if you take a little rectangle, you can draw a buy zone like that. I like to use buy zones in cryptocurrency, which basically I'll just aim near the bottom of the buy zone. And then if I get filled, I'll just hold it before I set my stop loss, kind of let it ride in the buy zone, bounce out of it, and then set my stop loss at the top of the buy zone or near break even. So in this case with Digibyte, it's an excellent entry point right here at around 1 cent, 1.1 cents. And this is very, very low. As you can see, it's been in a huge downtrend for quite some time now, actually. But if you take your Fibonacci retracement, you can test and see what the risk to reward ratio is. And you can see that Digibyte had an 88% retracement. So that means from the top of here, it lost over 88% of its market value. So when something's that low, it has to bounce. That's a good risk to reward ratio. So this is a good spot to be buying Digibyte in this rounded bottom formation. I see this breaking out and rallying near previous highs or previous resistance levels. A good spot to be selling would be this resistance. As you can see, it fell onto this, became support. This was a bear flag, and then it became resistance and broke the support right here. Continued to fall really down into this level, and then bounced, came up, hit resistance, and then came back down to support. So we can expect this to bounce and come back up to resistance because the risk to reward is good, and it's making this nice rounded bottom. So this is actually what I've been watching closely as well. But yeah, that would be a nice sell target if you calculate the percentage on that level. You're talking about around 160% gains. And if you're looking at a risk to reward ratio, you could use a 10% stop loss if you catch at the bottom of this rounded formation. Maybe even less. Yeah, about a 10% right here, the bottom of this rounded bottom formation. And so you'd be looking at like, you know, pretty close to a 10 risk to reward ratio, which is nice, by the way. It's very, very nice. All right. Let's look at OMG. And there we go. So this one is also making higher highs and higher lows, and did have an Ichimoku cloud breakout here. This could be a false breakout, but in the case of OMG, due to averaging consistent volume levels and this breakout of downtrending resistance on the 618 support level, it would not surprise me if we saw continuation on the upside for OMG, considering this higher high, higher low pattern. But I would like to see it hit about $11 before I'm interested in buying, in which case I'd let it fall back to the support levels around $9 or $10. And then I'd be interested in buying OMG. That would just confirm to me that this isn't ABC correction right here, just a bigger leg wave count for ABC correction. I don't see it as that because we did have this breakout and downtrending resistance, and like I said, we're averaging very good monthly volume. If we go to the trade volume and then we do the monthly volume rankings, you can find OMG on this list, and you'll actually find it near the top, averaging about $1 billion a month in volume. So something that's doing $1 billion a month in volume and making a higher high, higher low pattern, also known as a nice little uptrend forming right here, then I see this as bullish continuation, especially since the entire market cap looks like bullish continuation for now. But we are in the fifth wave, guys, so you want to be preparing yourself to have those sell orders in place and start taking profits, because we'll move into the $400 billion levels and it will be profit taking. Basically everything will be crazy at that point. All right, Dash. Again, nice little panic here on Dash, but we did hit my first Fibonacci extension. I've been watching this one for a minute here, counting the waves really. I traded this pump in Dash. This was actually a really fun pump for me to trade because I had learned how to trade these market cycles from Monero, because I basically held on to the top of Monero and got screwed back in 2016 sometime, and was still pretty new to trading. And Dash, this pump right here was the first pump after that pump where I had kind of learned from that, and I made a lot of money on this little pump right here and this little pump right here on Dash back in the day. So it's been a fun one to trade along the way, and I knew that we'd see some bullish continuation if we broke this downtrending resistance line. We sure did, and we've hit the first target that I was looking at for Dash. It could hyperextend to $1,950 to $1,000, but it did hit that first take profit. So anywhere in this range is nice selling for Dash. Let me get a red triangle here. Yeah, so this is all sell for Dash. All of this. This is fifth leg movement. So it'll have an APC correction in the spring with the rest of the market cap. Again, this is also following the legs of Bitcoin. The major whales trade all of the same coins. Yeah, I mean, since we've watched it break downtrending resistance down here and confirm the buy signal, we've seen 171% gains, which is pretty nice. All right. Civic. Yeah, supply and high demand is naturally going to go up in value, and that's what cryptocurrency is. It's low supply, high demand. But that doesn't make it somehow avoid sell-offs. Every market has sell-offs. It's unavoidable. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring up, because in the spring we will have that sell-off, and I don't want you guys to be holding on to the top, because I've held on to the tops of markets before, learning all of this, and lost money before, but I was able to make it all back with lots of time and learning all of these skills. But I don't want you guys to be holding on to the top of the market, because it feels so good to be in all of that profit, and sometimes it's hard to let go. So I want you guys to train yourselves and be able to take those profit levels. Stream offline. Let me see what I can do to fix this. Okay, I might need to lower my video quality just a little bit for this. Let me quickly fix that. Estimated buffer, video, encoding, max bit rate. Okay. Okay, is the stream back online yet? I'm just trying to get this to work for you guys. I apologize. I'm moving in the spring, which should give me quicker internet. Alright, NVIDIA. Broadcast settings. FPS. Okay, and buffer size 800. Okay, that should work. Is it quicker now? Can you guys... If anybody wants to email me OBS, open broadcasting streaming settings that they think would work better, let me know and I'll try to fix that. But for now, I guess we'll just have to deal with it. Okay, so turn off torrents. I'm not torrenting anything as of now. So yeah, we did have this breakout and downtrending resistance for Civic. That breakout occurred when the prices broke 29 cents, rallied up to 38 cents, and now they're falling back onto support. So this is also a good buy zone for Civic. And the reason for that is because when you have a breakout in downtrending resistance, that means that bullish players are likely to come back in. And since this is low, very low actually, near major support, and we have volume coming in, it's likely we see a bounce. So this is a good area to start looking at Civic. I would try to buy in a higher low. So wait for this to start making its little uptrend here, and buy in one of those higher lows and ride a fifth wave if you're looking to trade Civic. That's basically what I see here is a nice breakout in those downtrending resistance levels, and it could easily start a bullish market cycle on the upside from here. All right, so let's go over some more coins. Sky coin? What? All right, Pivx. Okay, we can do Pivx. Okay, Pivx dollar. Now, Pivx against the dollar has been in a nice uptrend since its creation, actually. Most people don't even realize that that's the case. People look at the Bitcoin pairs and then they panic sell because they feel like they lost all of their money in a certain investment. But Pivx has actually proven to make very nice consistent gains against the dollar since its creation. So let's look at the Pivx dollar chart, and I'll show you why people panic when they look at the Bitcoin charts. Look at this. It fell through every single kind of support there is. So people panic when they look at the Bitcoin charts because Bitcoin grows so much more value in correlation to the altcoins that it makes it look like they're losing money, when really against the dollar they're not losing money. So it's actually proven to be a nice investment. We are falling onto major support right here. And we do have downtrending resistance against Bitcoin. So this could be, if we see this downtrending resistance level break, that could be the start of a new, some growth even against Bitcoin. It could grow quicker than Bitcoin does. But we want to see those levels break to confirm that. Now, if we look at the actual dollar chart where we can perform some TA and have targets and stuff like that, we can see that since it created its uptrend here in March, I remember hearing everybody get hyped about Pivx. Since it started its uptrend, we've seen 6,000% gains against the dollar. So this is why sometimes you want to look at the dollar chart, because you might have panic sold looking at the Bitcoin chart, when if you didn't panic sell and you would have just held on to it, you could have made 6,000% since May. So that's pretty amazing to see that type of growth in this coin. Now, it does look like it had some wicking right here. That's really, really bullish movement. Happened too quickly. But it doesn't really, I don't see any like parabolic movement across the whole trend line. So it looks very healthy overall. We're kind of in a nice channel here. Again, it had that breakout of that channel, but in cryptocurrency, a lot of breakouts are false breakouts because it's so volatile, and that's what that was. So I just watched this channel here in Pivx over the next few months. For now, it's bullish with the rest of the market cap. So all right, ADA. Let's look at BitShares, because I told everybody to buy that on my channel because I knew it was going up and it started to. So let's look at that. Okay, remove all drawing tools. This is where we started getting interested in BitShares. I don't remember if you guys remember, but I made a video telling everybody to buy BitShares when it started dumping here. And I just knew it was because that was FUD, straight FUD. Everybody was panicking and dumping at the bottom, and it was at the very, very lowest point in its market cycle. So I knew it was going to rebound from these levels. Sure enough, we've seen 100% value regeneration from that point. So since we started buying, we are back up into these levels and ready to bounce out. This will probably panic back down to 10 cents one more time, somewhere around here, and then break out, something like that. I'm very bullish on BitShares. I think it's a great coin. I really like their exchange. I want more people to use it once it gets a little bit better, and once there's more volume on there, I'll probably start telling people to use it, because decentralized exchanges are important. I don't know if you guys, anybody is here from clear back in Mount Gox, but anybody that has been screwed over by an exchange knows that decentralized exchanges are part of the future, and this is a fully functioning one. You can use it today. You can go to bitshares.org and set up your wallet and use their exchange. It's fully decentralized. It's very neat technology. It's one of the quickest chains in the world too. As far as fundamentals go, I really like BitShares, but the chart pattern is nice in these areas as well, which is what I trade, is chart patterns, not fundamentals. All right, so let's go over Litecoin. Litecoin had a breakout of resistance levels, made this nice higher highs, and then we had this huge breakout of resistance and panic onto support. This looks like it has more upward movement, you guys. It actually looks like it just started a nice new cycle here. So I'm watching this support level to hold. As you can see, that's the exact same panic candle that's happening on Bitcoin right now. It's happening on everything. It's just panic. I see it getting engulfed, and then we'll have a fifth wave in Litecoin, or another fifth wave of this little Elliott pattern right here. So let's calculate what our targets might be from the low to the high of the previous resistance. Yeah, so we're looking at next possible target of $150 in its fifth leg. Could overextend to 200. It wouldn't surprise me in crypto one bit if it does. So those are targets for Litecoin. Any of these extensions here are nice targets. Watch that trend line. If it breaks, it would be a bearish signal. But for now, very healthy in Litecoin. Got overbought right here, just too parabolic. The whole market cap's panicking right now a little bit. The panic is just across the entire market cap. There isn't a single coin that's missing out on that, Sandpiper. It's basically just because they're all correlated to the prices of Bitcoin. Bitcoin accounts for 50% of the market capitalization. So when people are scared of Bitcoin, they're scared of all of crypto. And Bitcoin panicked a little bit, so all of crypto's panicking a little bit. But again, this is the same scenario that I saw back here. You know, false tops. False tops. Everybody has been trying to call the top on TradingView, and it's been so funny as I've been trading to watch everybody try to tell me that Bitcoin is dead the whole way up, because again, that's what's happening right here. Everybody thinks Bitcoin's dead. They're panic selling. It'll get engulfed in my eyes. But you know, there's always the possibility. There's always a possibility that trend lines break and the market cap starts to fall. In which case, we've been really buying all of these levels down in these dips. And if you're a trader, you know that you've bought in a dip. So if the market cap breaks support up here, we just take our profits on stuff. There's always that possibility. But the likelihood, the probabilities aren't in that right now. The probabilities are for continuation. Yes, there will be a replay. This will actually be on YouTube within an hour or two. It doesn't take too long usually for YouTube to get it up going. So, But yeah, look at that market cap growth. I remember posting on Twitter around here sometime telling people that I saw a few $100 billion coming into cryptocurrency in a very short period of time, and it started to happen. It's just how markets move. This is just parabolic. This doesn't look like topping. When you see topping, it's literally going straight up. Do you see how this is actually still somewhat of a trend right here? Yeah, zoomed out, it looks like it's crazy and it's going to dump. But if you actually look into the like zoom in and look at that trend line, this is still pretty normal market growth right here. I mean, not normal in terms of any other markets in the world, but in terms of cryptocurrency, this isn't blowing my mind in any way. This is very, very natural movement here. So when I see the top of a market, I'm expecting this to go parabolic to the point where we see another 100 billion go in about the same time that we saw $50 billion go in. So about a double increase of parabolic movement from where we're at right now. Let's see. Hey Dylan, what's the best way to store gains after the fifth wave during an ABC correction? I'm using USDT. Another good spot is silver. Silver's an excellent place to be putting your profits and holding on to that. Silver is a great, solid thing to accumulate, and it's very stable. Now, it's not very practical to put all of your profits into silver, but it is a good spot. I'm selling to USDT mainly on Bittrex, and I'm going to be looking to just buy the dip on Bitcoin and then send it back over to my Trezor and hold on to it. Shoot. All right, there we go. Okay, sound's working, video's working. Goodness, I apologize, you guys. I really hate it when my Wi-Fi goes bad. I'm moving in this spring, and I will be in a place where there's more infrastructure. My hometown has very little, so I can't have the best Wi-Fi out here. This is the best Wi-Fi literally that money can buy, and it sucks, so it's not much I can do. Alright, cool. Looks like everything's working perfectly again though. So yeah, panic should be engulfed by buying again. We'll see more FOMO up here at the top, and then we'll have a similar double top pattern that we kind of saw back here, where we'll have panic come in like this, but it will be bigger. It'll be like, you know, maybe 60 to $100 billion of panic, and not just like 40 to 50 billion like we saw right here. It's going to be like a huge panic will come in, and then it'll come all the way back up near previous highs and then panic again. And that's when you know you're at the top of a market. So, but yeah, it's going to fall to about 7,000 on the ABC retracement, the full, after it goes to 15, in my opinion. So all right. So USDT is basically just pegged to the value of the dollar. So what that means is the US dollar is more stable than anything else in cryptocurrency. So when you sell out of something, you sell into the dollar because it's stable, right? You can store that value. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing in Bitcoin at the top, is selling into USDT to store that value, let it correct, and then come back in. So all right, let's go over NAV. All right, so NAV against the dollar, also falling pretty hard here. Again, you just want to watch these support levels, see if they're going to hold. Your main support levels for NAV are about 86 cents would be the first big one, and then the next big one would be about 50 cents, and then the next big one would be about 14 cents. If it goes all the way back down, it's very likely it will bounce. If it goes to 14, it's very likely it would bounce up from there. So for NAV, this isn't a nice uptrend. It could see continuation here with a higher highs like that. Looks good, actually. Looks like it's falling onto support, and we'll see continuation on this uptrend. This could easily be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could still expect a fifth wave for NAV. All right. Perfect. Any other requests that we have yet? Made safe? I'll go over that one. All right, so Made Safe is very, very nice. I've actually been watching this. It looks like somewhat of an ascending triangle, or at least a pattern where we're having resistance hit in similar areas and support hit in similar areas. So this is making higher highs and higher lows. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. If this panic gets engulfed, then that will be the bottom of that wave. It could see continuation, but that panic has to get engulfed to make that a false breakdown. If that panic isn't engulfed, it'll probably fall back down to the trend line one more time, like this. Oops. It'll probably go like that, and then bounce up and out. But overall, I think this will break major resistance, and it's in a good, nice, healthy trend since 2017. So very nice for MateSafe. Alright, cool. So that's pretty much the coins that I wanted to go over for you guys today. Again, with Bitcoin, there's panic right now. You never want to sell the bottom on panic, because even if this is panic, it will bounce up near previous highs. That's what I want to drill into you guys' heads, because if you sell the bottom of a market purely because of emotion, you're gonna get wrecked. It's usually the same people that buy the top that sell the bottom. So what you want to do here with Bitcoin is just watch this trend line. Watch it very closely. If we have a break, if this candle closes below that trend line, take your profits on Bitcoin. We've been buying it all the way up here, all the way up. So we've been accumulating Bitcoin for a long time for really cheap. Now, if you did try to buy the top on Bitcoin, I'm sorry, because you might be able to let it ride up to the 15 levels like this, but you just don't want to buy the tops of fifth waves at all. You don't buy the top of this market. We've been buying back here, right? We've been buying in here. All of that was buying for us. All of this was also buying right here. And then right here was a huge buy for me. So we've been buying Bitcoin in these bottoms on my channel, not in these tops. So but it will have more upward movement in my opinion. No, it's not smart to buy at 9.5 again. Try to find something like an altcoin with a better risk to reward ratio. Bitcoin just doesn't have that much percentage left. Like, I mean, the percentage from 3,000 to 9,000 is big, right? But the percentage from 10,000 to 15,000 is not very big, right? And once you get closer to the top of markets, it has more and more of a chance of having a correction. So it's just riskier and riskier to buy as you get higher and higher. So this is not buying for Bitcoin here. This is, we're in the selling spot still, right? Like I said at the start of this stream, I took 25% right here today because, you know, this is selling. All of this fifth leg is selling. Now, do I think that there's more to this fifth leg? Yeah, I think that there's more left to this fifth leg, but that's kind of what I see overall here for Bitcoin. So yeah, thank you guys all for tuning in to the stream today. I hope that I answered a lot of your questions. I wanted to make a stream because of the $10,000 crossing and all of this hype right now in crypto. It's super exciting, very, very fun. It's been fun to trade these markets. It's been really, really fun to ride this Bitcoin pump. And I'm excited to start buying the dips in the spring because, as you guys know, I expect an ABC and then down at these levels at like 7,000. After the correction, I suspect it to round out up here like this. We'll have a rounded correction down at 7,000, a nice ABC, and we'll see continuation for Bitcoin in the future. So we'll just want to watch those Fibonacci levels on the pullback and start to aim to buy the dip. So yep, again, thank you guys all for tuning in. Stay profitable out there, and I will see you guys in the next streams and videos. Catch you later.